Sorry, I guess I insisted that you read that down.
Yep. Great.
And you're reading off of this as well, or is this going to go away?
No, those stay. That's the
Alright. And are you sitting after the reading?
No, but yeah. Oh, okay. Alright, yeah.
And yeah, you would hold your instrument for me for just a moment. Work for you?
Totally.
Yes,
thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right.
No, not last fall. Pandemic. Fall together. Yes, yes. And we'll have the sun. Don't run. Really. We're just kind of.
We have nowhere else to be but here.
Good morning, good Yontif. Wonderful to see all of you today. Gorgeous day. How lucky are we? We are going to begin on page 140. We're singing part of Psalm 27, Achat Sha'alti. Just one thing I've asked of God, only this do I seek, to dwell in God's house all the days of my life, to behold divine sweetness and beauty, and to gaze in delight at God's temple. And truly, we are able to do that. We are gazing in delight at God's temple. Outside.
Morning. May we all be inscribed for a good and for a healthy year during this time. It is so beautiful to be together in community. Those of us who are here a little shivering, but the sun's coming out. Don't worry, it'll be good. Soon you're going to complain that it's too sunny. It's whatever. It'll be good. And good to be with those of us who are watching online. Our community is gathering in many different ways today, but it is important that we are together on this most sacred of our days. An opportunity throughout this entire day to reflect on the themes that are in our machzor, to reflect on the themes that are within our heart, We are all coming through different times, different ways, all a little bit broken, but we are looking for the light, and we are finding it in community. Let's take a moment to wish each other shalom, gemar chatima tova, a good Yom Tov. Please turn to someone around you. For those who are watching us online, I'm Rabbi Michael Kahana, joined by Cantor Ida Ray Kahana, Cantor Raina Dushman, and Green. As I said, as I'm looking at Eli Green right here, Cantor Raina Green, and Rabbi Rachel Joseph will be joining us shortly. We're continuing on page 156. We're beginning with a sense of healing, with a prayer for healing. Before we can reach up to the highest sense of ourselves, we begin with the realities of our bodies. And if our bodies are not whole, it is hard for us to stand wholly before God's presence. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhmah, u'v'ravo nekavim nekavim, chalulim chalulim. Blessed are you, Holy One, who has formed the human body with wisdom, an intricate network of channels, vessels, and openings. This wondrous structure and the flow of life within us allows us to stand before you and to give thanks. Let us cherish this gift of flesh and blood, honor it as God's creation. Page 164.
Blessed is the one who spoke the world into being. Praise his God.
Praise the one who is ever creating. Praise the one who creates with a word.
Praise the one whose vision is made real. Praise the one who loves the earth.
Praise the one who loves earth's creatures.
Praise the one whose worshippers know goodness. Praise the one whose life and being lasts forever.
Praise the one who rescues and sets free. Blessed is your name, our sovereign. We praise you with songs of celebration. Your wonder fills the cosmos.
Baruch atah Adonai.
Blessed are you, Adonai, your majesty is celebrated in songs of praise. Page 173.
We continue with the singing of Hamelech.
Shofet
Eternally present, your name is hallowed on high. And the psalmist sang, rejoice in Adonai, you righteous. Let the upright adorn you with praise.
Amen.
Page 178, please rise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, poteach lanu sha'arei rachamim, me'er einei hamachakim esmichato, yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol. Infinite light is preserved in life's treasure house. Lights from the darkness, said God, and it was so. Page 180. In love you bring light to the earth and its creatures. Your goodness renews the creation each day. Infinite, varied, and rich are your works, divine artist, all of them wrought with wisdom. The whole earth is teeming with life. Awestruck by the universe work of your hands, let all life bless you and praise you and celebrate the beauty of your lights.
Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orah.
Praise to you, Adonai, creator of the cosmic lights. Page 184. Unite us in love and reverence for you, that we may never feel ashamed of our deeds. We have trusted in your great and holy name. Now let us celebrate at last the joy of your salvation. Bring us in peace from the four corners of the earth. Lead us with upright pride to the land that is ours. For you are a God of miracles and wonders. From all the peoples of the earth you sought us out and brought us near to your great, enduring truth. So with love we acknowledge and proclaim that you are one. Our praise to you, Adonai. You have singled out your people Israel with love.
והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך,
195 at the top of the page.
They shall know that I, Adonai, am their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt, that I might abide with them, I, Adonai, their God. And so long as we work to make you present, O God, we walk the path of freedom. But if we forget to bring you into this world, then we return to the darkness. Adonai Ga'al Yisrael, blessed are you in our lives, Eternal One, who redeemed Israel. Page 198. In the depths of night, by the edge of the river, Jacob was left alone. Heartfelt longing in the temple of God, Hannah uttered her prayer alone. In the barren wilderness, in doubt and despair, Elijah found God alone. On the holiest day in the Holy of Holies, the high priest entered alone. We are bound to one another in myriad ways, but each soul needs time to itself. In solitude, we meet the solitary one. Silence makes space for the still small voice, for the psalmist says, deep calls unto deep. From the depths of our soul, we seek what is most profound. Please rise. Adonai, Safatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzhak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Gadol Ha'gibor Ha'nurah El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim V'konei Hakol V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot U'mivei Gula Livnei Bneihem Leman Shemo Melech Ozer, Moshiach להושיע. מחר אל חי והרס, בחיי המון מרחמים רבים, סופים נופלים ורבים עולים, ומודים
Power beyond power, from whom salvation springs, sovereign over life and death, who is like you? Together, merciful God, who compares with you, with tender compassion, you remember all creatures for life, faithful and true, worthy of our trust. You sustain our immortal yearnings. In you we place our undying hopes.
להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
Page 209, we remain standing for Untitled Chapter. Today we call it by its rightful name, a day of dread, Norah v'ayim. The days are old and the language was theirs, but the call is real and the message is ours. Take hold of your life while you still have the chance, for your story will end, and it might be this year in a way that you don't know. Take hold of your life, make things right while you can, and don't miss the call of the day of dread. Let us proclaim the power of this day, a day whose holiness awakens deepest awe and inspires highest praise for your dominion. For your throne is a throne of love, your reign is a reign of truth. And in truth, you are judge and plaintiff, counselor and witness. You inscribe and seal, you record and recount, you remember all that we have forgotten. And when you open the book of memories, it speaks for itself. For every human hand leaves its mark, an imprint like no other. Page 210.
The shofar gadol yitaka, v'kol de'mamadaka yishama.
So a great shofar will cry to Kiyah. A still small voice will be heard. Angels in a whirl of fear and trembling will say, "Behold, the day of judgment, for they too are judged. In your eyes even they are not blameless. Who come into this world pass before you like sheep before their shepherd. As a shepherd considers the flock when it passes beneath the staff, you count and consider every life. You set bounds, you decide destiny, you inscribe judgments. Page 212. Rosh Hashanah, this is written on the fast of Yom Kippur, this is sealed. How many will pass away from this world? How many will be born into it? Who will live and who will die? Who will reach the ripeness of age? Who will be taken before their time? Who by fire and who by water? Who by war and who by beast? Who by famine and who by drought? Who by earthquake and who by plague? Who by strangling and who by stoning? Who shall rest and who will wander? Who will be tranquil and who will be troubled? Who will be calm and who tormented? Who will live in poverty and who in prosperity? Who will be humbled and who exalted? But through return to the right path, through prayer and righteous giving, we can transcend the harshness of the decree. We continue with Kedusha on page 218. Eternal shall reign for all time, your God for all generations, Zion. Hallelujah. Page 222. And so in your holiness, give all creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witness of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer come alive. We bow to the sovereignty of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives, doing your will with wholeness of heart. Awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name. Page 228. You and you alone, Adonai, will reign over creation. Upon Mount Zion, home of your presence, and in Jerusalem, a city set apart by you, as the psalmist believed, the Eternal shall reign for all time, your God for all generations, Zion. Hallelujah.
Baruch Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh.
Blessed are you, Adonai, Holy Sovereign. Please be seated. Page 232. Our God and God of the generations before us, may in memory of us ascend and come before you. May it be heard and seen by you. Winning your favor, reaching your awareness, together with the memory of our ancestors, the memory of your sacred city, Jerusalem, the memory of your people, the family of Israel. May we be remembered for safety, well-being, and favor, for love and compassion, for life and for peace on this day of atonement.
Sochreinu Adonai Eloheinu, u'letova,
Amen.
u'forgetenu, u'lifracha,
Amen.
u'shienu, v'lechayim.
Amen. Eternal our God, remember us, be mindful of us, and redeem us for a life of goodness and blessing. We say Amen. Favor us with words of deliverance and mercy. Show us with the depth of your care. O God, we await your redemption, for you reign with grace and compassion. Page 237. You are blessed, Adonai, sovereign, who forgives our failings and pardons the failings of your people, the house of Israel. You banish our guilt from year to year. You reign in majesty over all the earth. You sanctify the people Israel and the day of atonement. Page 242. As we sit together in this beautiful community, looking at the nature around us, these beautiful spaces that we have been given, the joy of what it means to be able to be together in this solemn time. We are reminded to be grateful for the gifts that God gives us. We're grateful for all the blessings we have, and we are reminded that we stand in the presence of holiness. For all of these gifts, O God of majesty, may your name come to be blessed and praised, our gratitude a daily offering until the end of time. Inscribe your covenant partners for a life of goodness. May all life resound with gratitude and faith in praise of your name. God, you free us and you strengthen us. Page 244. Our God, divine presence, whose path our ancestors walked, bless us now with words first bestowed on the people Israel in the time of Moses and Aaron, the threefold blessing given us through Torah that joins our hopes with theirs. Shekhinah, the Holy Presence, spread her wings over you and protect you. might shine upon you with compassion. Countenance illumine your lives with wholeness and with peace. Page 246, Sim Shalom, a prayer for peace.
Take a moment that we always need for some quiet reflection on what it means to be at peace, to feel shalem, to feel whole. Let us and the whole family of Israel be remembered and inscribed in the book of life. May it be a life of goodness, of blessing and prosperity. May it be a life of peace. And we say, Amen. Continue on page 252. Please rise.
Avinu Malkeinu, Almighty and merciful, hear our voice. Avinu Malkeinu, we have strayed and sinned before you. Avinu Malkeinu, have compassion on us and our families. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the onslaught of sickness, violence, and hunger. Avinu Malkeinu, halt the reign of those who cause pain and terror. Avinu Malkeinu, enter our names in the books of lives well lived. Avinu Malkeinu, renew for us a year of goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, let our hands overflow with your blessings. Avinu Malkeinu, let our eyes behold the dawn of redemption. Avinu Malkeinu, we pray, do not turn us away from you with nothing. Avinu Malkeinu, welcome our prayer with love, accept and embrace it. Avinu Malkeinu, act towards us as it befits your name. Avinu Malkeinu, act for your sake, if not for ours. Avinu Malkeinu, you alone are our sovereign. Avinu Malkeinu, let the gates of heaven be open to our prayer. Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice, treat us with tender compassion. Avinu Malkeinu, almighty and merciful, answer us with grace, for our deeds are wanting. Save us through acts of justice and love. Page 255, we begin Seder Kriyat Torah, our service for reading from the Torah.
We begin with Ein Kamocha.
Adonai, sovereign of time, bestow strength upon our people. Bless our people with peace. Adonai, Adonai, El Rachum v'Chanun, Erech Apayim v'Rav Chesed v'Emet, Yotzer Chesed Elafim, Yoseh Avon v'Fesha v'Chata'a v'Nakeh. Adonai, Adonai, God compassionate, gracious, endlessly patient, loving, and true, showing mercy to the 1000th generation, forgiving evil, defiance, and wrongdoing, and granting pardon.
Please be seated. It is our beautiful tradition each year to invite the previous year's B'nai Mitzvah class to have the honor of reading some Torah on this day. And it's very appropriate that we ask them, the young people in our congregation, because this Torah portion, Atem Nitzavim, talks about everyone being gathered at Sinai. Everyone is standing there and receiving the law, from the woodcutter to the richest guy in town. So it's every age, every station. So it's really beautiful to have them, and especially this year when I hate to call them our COVID kids, but you know, the ones who had to study and keep at it during this especially difficult time, and their families who were so patient and flexible as we all had to be, but still, you have to give it to them. So we have a few who are able to join us today. We're so grateful. We love those of you too who couldn't be with us today, and we'll put you on the list for next year. So we have blessings on page 258. And we're going to have Maddie Garfinkel lead us in those blessings. So, Maddie, maybe you'll come stand over here. We're just figuring this out. And then we have our Torah readers, Naomi Bostrom. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch, Maddie, you come way over there, okay? Keep a little distancing. We're going to put Naomi, well, Naomi, you're first. So, or you're almost first. So you be here. And then Alyssa Traeger, why don't we just have you kind of lining up a couple feet from each other going that way, okay? So it'll be Alyssa, Eli Venebush, Jonah Braun, Charlotte Wild, Tori Raywald, and Alex Venebush, okay? And that should work. Putting on my glasses. What do you work about that? Yeah, and it's not in the right spot. Right. Some music, maestro. One of those moments. Okay, so first we're going to have the blessing before the reading of Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamborah. Baruch Adonai Hamborah le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amin, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah.
Amen. Very nice. Who do we have next? We have Alyssa. Oh wait, you're done. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And now we have Eli. Eli, Vanavashte.
ולא איתכם לבדכם אנוכי כורת את הברית הזאת ואת העולה הזאת.
Thank you so much. Hey, Jonah.
He את אשר ישנו עמנו עומד היום לפני אדוני אלוהינו ואת אשר עינינו עמנו היום. ויבואו עליהם כל הדברים האלה, הברכה והקללה אשר נתתי לפניך, וחשב אותה על לבבך, וכל הדברים אשר קידשך אדוני אלוהיך שמה.
worry.
Asher Nochi Mitzadecha Hayam Ata Uvanecha Bechol Levavecha Bechol Nafshecha.
Thank you. And Alex next.
V'shav Adonai Elohecha et shevutecha v'vikanecha v'shav v'kibetzcha mikol ha'amim asher ha'kitzcha Adonai Elohecha Shama.
Yasher Koah to all of our beautiful readers. And now we'll, they get a hand, they get a hand. I know. And the second Torah blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet b'chayei olam atah v'tokenu Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Torah.
Amen. Thank you all. Go back to your seats. The marshals, everybody. Continuing now on page 273, as we have the Torah scroll in front of us, we have the hope of those young lives, and that gives us hope that there will be continued healing in this world. So if you are thinking of someone in distress in your life, it could be yourself. And if you would like to share the name with us or just hold it in your heart, please feel free to say that name now. Page 273, Mishaberach. Please rise as we give honor to the Torah. V'zot haTorah asher sar lifnei bnei Yisrael Yahalonu and Shem Adonai Ki Niskav Shemo Levado. All praise God's name, for God's name alone is truly sublime.
Lekach tov natati lachem torati al ta'azovu, a precious teaching. I have given you my Torah. Do not forsake it. It is a tree of life to those who hold fast to it. We turn now to page 292. We begin the section of our Yom Kippur service of Vidui, the time of confessional. Though there are words on the pages, none of them accurately reflect what is in our individual hearts. We are, each of us, traveling our own journey during this time, an internal, personal journey. And we pray that these words of Vidui offer a scaffolding, offer a format and an opportunity for you to be able to look more within and find your own place of confession. Return now, Israel, to Adonai your God, for you have fallen because of your sin. Take words with you. Return to God. Ask the Eternal. Forgive what is wrong. Accept what is good. We stand in humility, conscious of our failings. We set before you the wrongs we have done. We trust in your compassion, for you know who we are. Shema kolenu, Adonai, hear our call.
Shema Kolenu
Do not forsake us, Adonai. Be not far from us, our God. With hope, Adonai, we await you. Surely you, Adonai, our God, you will answer. Page 296, please rise. Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, tavo lefanecha tfilatenu, our God, God of our generations. May our prayers reach your presence when we turn to you. Do not be indifferent. Adonai, we are arrogant and stubborn, claiming to be blameless and free of sin. In truth, we have stumbled and strayed. We have done wrong. Page 299. For the sin we committed against you through evading and avoiding, because we could not face the truth. For our flight into hypocrisy and deception, because we did not dare to speak it. The facts we dissembled, and all we glossed over for the excuses we made, for feeding our bodies and starving our souls, for interfering with the souls of others and neglecting their needs, for shifting our responsibilities for reproaches and recriminations, our foolishness, our folly, and false standards, for seeing these things only in others, never in ourselves, for our complacency which blinds us and our self-righteousness which lessens us, for calculating kindness and measuring out pity, for charity that is cold and prayers without feeling, for withholding our love, for the appeals that we ignored and the people whom we refused, for the affection which died in our lives that became bitter, for the visions which faded, the ideals we neglected, the opportunities we lost, for the fears of change and renewal in our unbelief, for saying prayers aloud but refusing to listen, for being our own worst enemy. Please be seated and we'll read silently through page 306, or without the words of the pages, find your own personal confession. Failures of judgment and will, O God of forgiveness, forgive us, pardon us, lead us to atonement. Page 310. So, O God, forgive us, pardon us, and lead us to atonement. Page 318. Infinite source of goodness, help us to see the good in ourselves, in others, in the world around us. Teach us to cultivate a discerning mind, to know right from wrong, a listening heart open to love and forgiveness. Guide us to walk in your ways with integrity, ever faithful to the promises our forebears made. And may your goodness inspire us to do what is just and right.
just sang this lovely little ditty of strengthen us this day. We need strength on this day when we're all pleading for atonement and kind of fraught, and we need wise words. So that's why we decided to invite Rabbi Joseph to come up and teach us a little bit.
We also, if you're watching us, half the plaza is completely in the shade and half the plaza is completely in the sun. And so as I've been standing in the back, we have one side that's freezing, and they're sort of going to the back to get some sun, and one side that needs sunscreen. So I feel like we should all get up, like intermission, and switch, so that it's literally a 40-degree difference between side to side. So I give you permission, if you'd like to get up and move around. Sermon time is a great moment to get up and move around. Look, people are taking me up on it. This is so good. We're going to take a little moment. People are literally roasting on one side. I'm seeing lots of red skin. I wish we could turn a camera around right now so you can see that everyone is literally... So if you're at home, I encourage you to also stretch. We know this is a long day. And it's a physical day, it's a spiritual day, it's an emotional day. And so our physical bodies need to be moving as much as our spiritual and emotional.
Okay, while we have this little 7th inning stretch here before this sermon, I want to take a moment.
I love this.
This is so great. I want to take a moment to thank so many people, and I feel like usually we leave the thank yous for the end of Yom Kippur when there aren't as many people. So I want everyone to hear these thank yous. So to Bruce Neswick, for our Yom Kippur accompanying on piano, and to Michael Barnes, our Rosh Hashanah pianist. The professional choir who will be back with us for the memorial and concluding services, Blake Applegate, Michael Barnes, Amy Hunn, Arwen Myers, Hannah Penn, and Bakari Petro Leonate, and Daniel Pinkins-Jones. Also, all the members of our amazing congregational choir, Kol Echad, they will also be back with us for the concluding service, so you better come back, everybody. Our instrumentalist, Amelia Lucas, who played flute on Rosh Hashanah Eve, Irving Levin, our wonderful congregant with that incredible cello for Kol Nidre last night, and he'll be back for the memorial. Adam Lamott, fabulous violinist for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur morning. Thank you, Adam. In the afternoon, we'll have Michelle Alani on violin, Ralph Humphrey piano, Courtney Vondrelli on saxophone and accordion, Ben Sandler, our own Ben, on bass, and our own Arthur Steinhorn on drums. So really, you need to stay here all day. That's at 4 o'clock. For the Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur family services, Kim Schneiderman, amazing, vocals, guitar, helping to put all these services together. Ben Sandler will be back with bass and lead guitar, Arthur Steinhorn on drum, and we want to thank Ben Rosenfeld for playing violin for the Yom Kippur morning service. And then we've got Michael Allen Harrison doing our ARC moment at 3, for those of you that want to come back to some meditation with Michael playing beautifully. Thank you to all of our post-B'nai Mitzvah students. I said all your names before. Thank you. And for our Yom Kippur afternoon post-B'nai Mitzvah readers, all of the adults, I'll thank you, Eric, Primo Fishman, Amy Lewin, Sherry Fishman, Susan Milstein, Eve Bernfeld, Rebecca Friedwald Fishman, Joel Sears, Leslie Geller, and Ted Nelson. And our amazing shofar blowers, Ben Sandler and Rabbi Kahana. Got to thank Josh Kaczynski. None of this would happen without Josh. And our maintenance staff under the supervision of Dallas Van Winkle and Susie Young. Again, amazing. Also, B. Anderson, Stephen Saxon, and Dylan Loudon. Our office support staff, Chelsea Ferguson, Tracy Alifans, Laura Robinson, all under the supervision of Josh. We thank all of our ushers and greeters. Thank you for being here. And we also thank Benjamin Arif and Alex First for video production. And we thank Mike Johnson of Mountain Air Sound Studios. So I would feel very guilty, and that would be a bad Yom Kippur thing if I didn't thank everybody. So thank you.
Thank you. It takes a lot, as we know, any year to come together at this time, and as we've all been flexible on this COVID coaster, as I like to call it. But thank you to everyone that we can be together and we can be online in all of these different ways. We can be in the sun, we can be in the shade. Now that we're all comfortable. So one of my least favorite Talmudic characters is the one they call Nahum Ish Gamzu. He lived in the 1st century after the destruction of the Second Temple. He's a pretty miserable figure, one of those people to whom terrible things just happen. And when they do, whatever happens to him, he says the phrase, Gam zu latova. This too is for the good. Or as we say in Portland, it's all good. He's ceaselessly positive, the Talmudic version of the Black Knight in Monty Python's Holy Grail, who upon losing an arm says, "'Tis but a scratch." Even in the story where Nahum ends up going before Caesar with a chest full of dirt as an offering, having been robbed the night before, at the risk of being killed, he says, Gam zu latova, this too is for the good. And in the end, of course it is, because Nahum represents a world in which everything, however terrible, is understood to be God's will, to be purposeful. And so things often do work out okay for him. Gam zu latova, it's all good indeed. I find this a challenge because it's certainly not our reality. It's never been our reality. Things don't always work out for the best. This Talmudic character particularly bothers me because as a Reformed Jew, I don't believe everything is God's will. I believe in free will. To be completely positive, like him in the world today, sometimes at least is have totally misunderstood the situation. The truth is, it's okay to not be okay. There's a meme going around my clergy networks that reads, after the year we've had, our rabbis should be able to stand up during the high holidays and just exclaim, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to say. And we'd all kind of nod and say, L'chaim, I'll drink to that. Everything is not okay in our world, and it is okay to not be okay. I was speaking with someone who was laid off during the pandemic, whose life was turned upside down. They told me how many well-meaning friends and family rushed to say that she needed to stay positive. She'd be back on her feet if she just stayed focused. It could be worse. At least your husband was still employed. At least you still had good health. The undertone was clear. She should be grateful for what she had. Don't dwell just on what was lost. No one meant to hurt with these comments. They were trying to make someone feel better. And while she was grateful, and she knew that she was still in a pretty privileged position, it didn't mean that the situation still didn't hurt. It did. It does hurt. The same could be said with all of our new reality, be it things that are big or seemingly small but have a huge impact on our lives. We've lost people. We've missed funerals. We've postponed our weddings and our B'nai Mitzvah. We couldn't graduate in person. We've lost a sense of connection. We've risked our personal health to keep others safe, fed, and healthy and clean. We've been alone in our loneliness. We know that people are hurting, that they don't feel like themselves, that as Rabbi Kahana summed up on Erev Rosh Hashanah, we all have road rage now. But we don't have the words and the space to feel that. The forced positivity is counterproductive. And one term for this phenomenon is called toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is a phrase rooted specifically in American culture, which values positivity above all other emotions. Dr. Jamie Zuckerman describes it as the assumption, either by oneself or others, that despite a person's emotional pain or difficult situation, they should only have a positive mindset, or as she says, her pet peeve term, positive vibes. Toxic positivity not only invalidates your actual emotional state, but it also increases secondary emotions. When we tell someone that feeling sad, angry, or any emotion that we consider negative is bad, we end up eliciting secondary emotions inside of them, like shame, guilt, and embarrassment. According to Dr. Zuckerman, the inherent problem with this concept is that we assume that if a person is not in a positive mood, or whatever we think a positive person should look or act like, then they're somehow wrong, bad, or inadequate. In so many words, we're saying to them that they should feel ashamed of being sad, or they should feel embarrassed for being afraid. It's really okay to not be okay. Not only is it okay to not feel okay, it's essential. An abnormal emotional response to an abnormal situation is normal. We cannot simply pick the emotions we want to have. It just doesn't work that way. So feeling sad and scared about losing a job is normal. Crying after you get into a fight with your partner is also normal, as is feeling anxious and scared about an uncertain future. When we think we might lose something we care about, that's sad. When we don't know what to expect next, that's scary. We should let ourselves and other people in our lives feel these things as they come up, which may be more than usual right now. By hiding our discomfort, we're only adding fuel to the fire. When we're listening to someone in distress, we're often afraid of making them feel worse, and then we don't know what to say. We need to affirm the other person's feelings and let them know that we're here to support them without exception. It's okay to not feel okay. You should feel whatever emotions you feel. Take your time. I'm with you and I'm listening. You're allowed to feel this way. Your feelings are valid. And let me be clear. It's okay to not be okay. And if you, after sitting with your feelings, are really not okay, there are ways and resources to get help. I'm so impressed with Simone Biles and other athletes who are no longer afraid to address mental health. By not jeopardizing her own health and well-being, she said on the world stage, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to leave toxic positivity behind, to embrace the full spectrum of human experience, the good and the bad. She taught us about tragic optimism. Tragic optimism says that there is hope and meaning to be found in life, while also acknowledging the existence of loss, pain, and suffering. First defined by Austrian psychologist and himself a Holocaust survivor, Viktor Frankl, in 1984, tragic optimism maintains there is space to experience both the good and the bad, that we can grow from each. Now, I know these terms sound very similar, so stay with me. Toxic positivity says that everything is okay and life is full of silver linings. It's based in American culture of putting on a happy face and pushing through. And tragic optimism is different. In fact, it feels very Jewish because it says that we're able to hold both the good and the bad. Like Tevye and Fiddler on the Roof, on the one hand I believe, on the other hand I believe, on the other hand. It's a kind of philosophy we need to cope right now as we're still trudging through the pandemic and may help us once we're on the other side of this as well. I think Frankl was drawing upon Jewish tradition, and specifically our liturgy when thinking about tragic optimism. At Shabbat on the Plaza earlier this summer, as we were singing the Hashkivenu prayer, our youngest turned to my wife and said, I used to think Mommy wrote this song. She sang it to me every night before bed. Yes, I did sing this song every night before bed, but I don't really deserve credit for a prayer that was written thousands of years ago. But as a mom, every night, I ask God to shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain, from the reality of the world. Why? Because in our aloneness at night, we say Hashkivenu before sleep. We are daily acknowledging what gets in our way and at the same time praying for comfort and protection from these frightening thoughts. Our liturgy puts into our everyday what is enormously scary and uncomfortable, and trust it will come around every night to feeling hamakom, to feeling God's safety and shelter. Instead of letting these negative feelings overwhelm us or ignoring them completely, as is par for the course with toxic positivity, embracing tragic optimism means making a daily effort to, as much as possible, feel comfortable with loneliness or anxiety. It's an opportunity to help us distill our values. In these moments, we may learn that we actually enjoy solitude, that we highly value community, or discover who we want to be on the other side of this pandemic. Now, I wouldn't be a rabbi if I didn't believe in the power of community, the power of ritual, the importance of gratitude and action. I spoke about these important planks on Rosh Hashanah, and I try to live these values every day in my personal and professional life. And I'm standing here today to say they might not make you happy. You might not feel better after doing all of these things, and that is okay. As Glennon Doyle recently said in her podcast, you're not a mess at all. You're just a feeling person in a messy world. You're exactly right to feel a lot right now. It doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're strong enough to be paying attention. Be gentle with yourself, please. So although it may feel tempting to just grin and bear it, taking the slightly more uncomfortable route of tragic optimism may actually help us see that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and help us take a breath as we wait to reach it. Last night, Rabbi Kahana spoke about this year of Shemitah, this year when the land rests as an opportunity for rest, connection, and renewal for us as well, an opportunity to heal. Feel your feelings. Sit with them. Let them pass. And let others meet each wave of whatever emotion they're feeling too. Not everything is Gamzu Latova. This too is for the good. Everything is not okay. And that is okay. L'chaim. I'll drink to that.
Rabbi. Great lesson and important for us in this time as we're trying to figure out where we are in this time. We're going to continue this day of reflection. We have many opportunities today, a number of online opportunities of study, as we are thanking all of those who are participating, and I'm thanking my incredibly talented clergy partners who are here for all of us and making this time so very meaningful. We also want to extend a special thank you to Rabbi Sam Joseph, or as we like to call him, Rabbi Joseph the Senior, who is going to be teaching us this afternoon an online course on pandemics and other things in Jewish history. That would be very valuable. I'm going to be leading a sermon conversation for anyone who wants to reflect a little bit on what we've been learning over these past high holidays. You're welcome to join us in a Zoom meeting for that. We have a family service coming up very soon. And so you're welcome to stay or welcome to give space for our young families who are going to be joining us, but it's a very fun service. 3 o'clock will be our Torah encounter for anyone who would like to have a few minutes inside the sanctuary. We'll keep ourselves socially distanced and masked, but an opportunity to have a moment in front of our Sifrei Torah, our Torah scrolls. And then 4 o'clock we'll begin our afternoon service right back here, and we'll see how the sun has moved and everything has shifted, and maybe we'll shift around a little bit as well. And our afternoon service will go into Yisker and then into our concluding Nila service. And we welcome you both in person and online. And for all of us, we say, Gmar Chatima Tova, may you be inscribed for a good and a healthy year. Thank you.
Because
Amen.